Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. Mason Mount is a Manchester United player officially signing from Chelsea, £55 million, 5-year deal plus one. We'll talk about the wages, we'll talk about the Instagram video, we'll talk about his quotes, we'll talk about why he's a Manchester United player. But you know what? Sometimes there's just a comment that just jumps out straight away. Please do smash a like on the video for Mason Mount. We like to get loads of likes on a video for when we get a new signing, so show your appreciation. But IQ Insane says Mount signing is proof that Ten Hag will carry on with transition football. I thought we would play possession football under him. I was wrong. What are your thoughts about that? We'll delve into that. But Mason Mount, officially a Manchester United player, won't be a shock. Some might say slow sports news. But I'll tell you what, the story of this transfer, before I talk to you about the quotes that Mason Mount's come out with and his video from Instagram, the story behind this, you have to acknowledge. £55 million. Liverpool wanted him. Arteta wanted him. And Chelsea wanted him to stay. He chose Manchester United because of the vision and detail that Erik Ten Hag gave him about why he liked this player, how long he'd liked this player, and what he would do with this player. However you look at this deal, whether you love it, like it, or think it's a bit mid, Erik Ten Hag really wanted him, prioritised him, went for him hard when Jurgen Klopp wanted him and Mikel Arteta wanted him and Pochettino and Chelsea wanted to keep him, and won the battle. Now, look, whether it ends up being the right battle to win, time will tell. But that is impressive. Just because it's not the player that you want, it's still impressive to go and get that player and persuade him to join the Manchester United, hopefully, revolution. Ten Hag finally got his man get in, says Horn. Well, also, what I would say is that, you know, it was another great comment, I can't remember where I read it, about how Mount in his exit video basically said that this is the right move for his career. You know, it's the right move to come to Manchester United. And a few people observed, well, actually, when you look at the last 10 years, why would Man United be the place to go? Has he been told what the new ownership model is going to be? Because if it's going to stay as it is, he'd be better off staying at Chelsea. The ownership needs to change. We know that. Mark, personally, I would have signed Tonali over Mount. We need a player that can learn from Casemiro. I hope you're well. Been watching since 200k subs, says Simon Cliff. Well, as I said, smash a like on the video. We're going to go straight into Mason Mount's comments about what he said joining Manchester United. But he will sign for Manchester United. Now, in relation to the wages, people will moan about this. I moaned about this. Manchester United have signed Mason Mount, and it is, you know, the wages are going to be around £200,000 a week. But United will say the stories of 250 grand a week and 300 grand a week, these will be incentivised wages, which is what we're trying to do now. It's based on goals, it's based on winning, it's based on the team winning. So, look, I think we're moving into an era with wages where United are bad at wages, and we need to see evidence that they're not. But they are, you know, very eager to stress that they want to move into this different world of incentivized wages, which, you know, if it's true and that happens, you can't knock it. This is the official line from Manchester United. Mason Mount has joined Manchester United on a contract running until June 2028 with the option of a further year, so a 5-year deal. He's won the Champions League with Chelsea. He's been Player of the Year for the last 2 seasons apart from this one, so 2020-21, 21-22. 36 caps for England, 279 appearances for Chelsea, 58 goals, contributing to 53 assists. And this is what Mason Mount had to say. It's never easy leaving the club where you grew up, but Manchester United will provide an exciting new challenge for the next phase of my career. Having competed against them, I just now hope that this... No, sorry, let me read this properly. Having competed against them, I know just how strong a squad that it is that I'm joining, and I can't wait to be part of this group's drive to win major trophies. Everyone can see that the club has made big step forwards under Erik Ten Hag, and having met with the manager and discussed his plans, I couldn't be more excited for the seasons ahead, and I'm ready for the hard work that is expected here. I'm hugely ambitious. I know how amazing it feels to win major trophies and what it takes to do it. I will be giving everything to experience that again at Manchester United. John Merters had his say. Mason is an extremely intelligent footballer and has so many fantastic technical qualities that will significantly add to our squad. List them, please, John. List them. We have admired his talents for a long time, so we're delighted that he has chosen to take the next steps in his career here at Old Trafford. His style of play and attributes are perfect for the squad, and we will all believe that he will only improve working with Ten Hag and his coaching staff. Mason himself is a world-class player, but he also has the ability to improve the players around him through his game intelligence and tactical awareness. We were particularly impressed by his strong desire to join United and his thirst for further success as we push to drive up our performances levels next season and beyond. And that's what's come out from Manchester United. Nothing from Ten Hag yet, which is actually a bit surprising. I thought we might have something coming in from Erik Ten Hag, but we've certainly had it coming in from John Murtough there. I mean, you're just picking up on a few things. I don't think he's world class. I don't know whether you have to put the words world class in there. I don't think he's world class. I think that's stretching it a little bit, but that's John Murtough for you. I think that. I mean, I just want to analyse a little bit about what Mason Mount said. And what was said at the start. I mean, the interesting thing for me is that I think there's got to be... I don't think Mason Mount's world class just because he won Chelsea Player of the Year twice and he's won the Champions League. He's not in the England squad and he's had a bad season. I don't think he's world class. I think that's pushing it too far, and that's the naivety of John Murtough, Richard Arnold again. He's not a world class signing, and I think sometimes we're in a rush at that football club to over egg the pudding, and you know, if you're putting it out there that he's a world class player, the bar is there, and if he's not world class, people will go, well, you know. I just think those sort of explanations never help anybody. He's not world class. He's had a very poor season by his standards. He's a player with potential to be there, I think. And he needs to build up under Erik Ten Hag. I don't think we're buying a world class player. I think we're buying a player with huge potential that Erik Ten Hag likes. I think there's areas to Mason's game that are going to have to improve if we do play possession-based football. I think he is a transitional footballer. I think he's an energetic footballer, and we're going to have to learn to be a little bit more patient. I think Bruno's not a patient player. Is Mason Mount a patient player? If we want to become a more possession-based team in the final third, we need to slow it down a little bit. We need to be comfortable on the ball. We need to pass and move. I think there's a concern that Mason Mount's a little bit like Bruno, that it's, you know, that pass, always looking for that pass, you know, very quick transitional football rather than possession. But we know that Ten Hag wants to play possession. So Mason Mount is good enough and young enough to learn that. I think that's going to be interesting. As I was saying on the morning show, everybody analyses footballers and says they're good at this, they're good at that. Have we ever seen Chelsea and Mason Mount play like Man City? Have we ever seen them play like a Barcelona or an Ajax, where you get the ball in the final third and you're patient with it and you play the extra pass and you probe? That's something that Mason Mount is going to have to improve on if we're going to play that standard of football, because Bruno needs to improve on that as well. So look, I'm excited by it. I did listen to the exit interview, which a lot of people have asked me about. I like the idea of incentive-based wages, says Luke. It will stop players downing tools when they don't get their own way. I like it as well, Luke. Happy about Mount, but that Jamie Jackson killed all excitement. I just hate the Glazers sell the club, says DK. I'll come back to that in a minute. That was a mountain to climb. I love the show, says Sir Alex Ferguson stand. And can you call my dad Matthew a Pratt, says Diego. Okay. I saw the Mason Mount exit thing. He had different coloured hair. I don't know when he... Robert McCormack says he has half the passes, touches, assists of Eriksen. I don't know when he did that exit interview or video for Chelsea. His hair was different. I personally have got a very blunt opinion on this. I couldn't give two shits about Mason Mount's exit video for Chelsea. I couldn't give two shits about what colour hair he had. And I couldn't give two shits what Chelsea fans think about him. All I'm bothered about is Mason Mount plays for Manchester United. You wear a Man United shirt now. I don't care whether you love Chelsea. I don't care whether you were there since you were a kid. You know, this is not something we talk about with Bruno and Sporting Lisbon. Why are we talking about it about Mason Mount? I don't care about the video. I don't care about the sincerity. I don't care about what was said in it. Ultimately, the bottom line is, it's an irrelevance. I wouldn't have even done it. I mean, did Robin van Persie do it when he left Arsenal? And did Arsenal fans say it's fine? I mean, there is no video you can do that Chelsea fans are going to go, you know what, fair play. He's been here since he was 6. He's Chelsea through and through, and he's leaving at 24. I wish him all the best at Man United. It's never going to work. United fans don't care about it, and Chelsea fans will resent it. So, look, I get the fact that Mason has been there for a long time and, you know, has an affection to Chelsea and wanted to try and do something. But ultimately, it falls on deaf ears. And the bottom line is, as we all know, Chelsea didn't do enough to keep him. And ultimately, they irritated him to a point where he wanted to leave Chelsea. So, look, it's a bit like United under the Glazers. We love Man United, but we don't like the Glazers. Mason Mount obviously loves Chelsea, but he doesn't like how they treated him, so he left. It's as simple as that. He's a footballer, and Erik ten Hag has offered him something that he likes and wants to go and do. It's Chelsea's fault. It's not his, and it's not ours. And I don't care about his reaction video. I think too many people last night were analysing something that I was just sort of like, I'm watching the In-Betweeners movie. I couldn't give a toss. Wayne Rooney was an Everton boy, says Grant. Yeah, and the same thing happened. And did Wayne Rooney sit there and go, you know what, I'm an Everton lad through and through. Thanks to David Moyes for giving me the debut. It was an amazing feeling scoring goals for my boyhood club, but I'm going to Man United because I want to better myself. He didn't do the video. He shouldn't have done the video. You know, you make those choices. You walk that path, don't you? You know, you leave your job tomorrow to go to somebody else. They're probably, you know, you don't work for them anymore. You can have respect, you can keep relationships, and that's very classy. But I don't think there's I just think too many people talking about a video that, to be honest, I couldn't give a toss about. He's a Man United player now. All I care about is, can we get the Mason Mount back that was winning Player of the Year awards at Chelsea, that was an England regular and was winning the Champions League? Can we get that Mason Mount back, and can we make that Mason Mount better? I actually judge the Mason Mount signing as not world class, not the finished article, and a risk. But all those things actually are quite encouraging. I think there's a lot of work to do from him and Erik ten Hag, and I don't think we're buying a player that's just, you know, good to go. I was shocked when we went for him back in May, but I immediately could see the excitement around the deal, because I think he's a work in progress. And that's where my mindset's at. I think if your mindset is, we're bringing a player in for now that's just going to be absolutely brilliant, he might do that. You know, he was terrible last year. He might just bounce back with positivity. His headspace is correct. You know, his confidence is back. But I think there's a lot of work to do with Mason Mount. And I don't think... That's why when I see John Murtagh saying we've bought a world-class player, I think he's misread the room. I think he's misread the signing. We're not buying a world-class player, John. We're not buying a player that's, you know, just going to come straight over from Chelsea and just fall into the team and be brilliant. Where does he start, for a start? Where does he fit into the team? What position's he going to play? What style of football are we going to play? You know, I think that there has to be an element of patience. It's a reasonably priced deal for a player who's English. I mean, Declan Rice has just gone for £100 million. Mason Mount's gone for half of that. And Mason Mount's an attacking player. So he's got 1 year left on his contract. But I think we're buying potential. I think we're buying a player with a really good CV. I think we're buying a player with really good attributes and really good mentality, who's coming off a bad season, who needs his confidence rebuilding and refocusing. And I think Man United and Erik ten Hag offer all those things. I'm excited to see this signing and what's going to happen with it. But I'm not going to label it, and I'm not going to put a badge on it, and I'm not going to say, oh yeah, you know, we've just bought one of the best players in the world. I don't think that's the case at all. I think there's work to do, just like there is United. Do they not realise we have a game a week today? On to the next, says Dave. And who's next then, Mark? Poll for next signing, says Tom. And Ants Football and Gaming has been a member for 30 months. Thanks, mate. You're a legend. Make sure you smash a like on the video for our new signing. Let's do a little bit of a poll, actually. Who will be the next signing? Who signs next? Right. Can I put De Gea new contract in there? No, I'm not going to do that. Don't worry. Well, I think it's one of two, isn't it? I mean, I'll throw in him as well, because these would be the three at the moment. But there we go. Just while you're getting your votes in, make sure you smash a like on the video. And let's just have a quick look at this story that people were talking about. I don't know whether we've got a shirt number for Mason Mount. I don't know whether that's actually been released. I would imagine he's probably going to wear what he was wearing before. Jamie Jackson, just on the sale, has said... so Jamie Jackson is a writer for The Guardian, and he is saying this. Just in, Sheikh Jassim is increasingly uncertain whether the Glazers will sell Manchester United, with the Qatari banker yet to receive a response to a fifth bid of about $6 billion lodged 4 weeks ago. I mean, you know what? I don't want to talk about the sale. We can probably do that later. We're talking about Mason Mount here, but it beggars belief the amount of shit that that we've had put out there about, you know, imminent news in the next few hours yesterday, and yet you're getting stories coming out that Qatar haven't got a bloody clue what's going on. It's crazy, isn't it? No shirt number for Mason Mount. He was wearing a shirt. He was wearing a numberless shirt. Mount cannot be an impactful and effective signing without the rest of the signings we desperately need in the squad, says Samir. Look, you know, I'm not going to be negative on the signing of a player. It's our first signing. It's July the 5th. I know we didn't do it this year, but if I'd have been predicting when our first signing would be, I wouldn't have said 5th of July. This is late, but hopefully we can get a bit more momentum. Welcome, Mason. Eric's going to bring the best out of you, says Roger. And I think that's basically what this signing is, whether you're pro or against it. And I'm not going to run that on a signing video because we've spoken about that in depth before. But I think that with this signing, you're getting a player that is a massive, massive, massive priority for Erik ten Hag. You are getting a player that Erik ten Hag really does feel is, you know, what he wants, and you're getting a player that also has a huge, huge, huge amount of, pardon the pun, amount, self-belief and work. You know what? I'm going to drop this in here. And it's good for you. Like, my daughter plays football, and, you know, sometimes she has bad games, sometimes she has good games, and sometimes she trains well and sometimes she doesn't. And I read this and I always use it, and I said, you know, Mason Mount, and she'll go, yeah. I say, there was a sentence he came out with a few years ago, and it was something like this: when he was a kid training, and I don't know whether his dad or one of his coaches said to him, you've got to treat every training session like it's a cup final. Like, every training session, every game, every time you go out there and put your shirt on, you've got to treat it like it's a cup final. Now, that might be just a throwaway comment from Mason Mount, but it shows you the mentality. It shows you the work ethic. And we know that's changed at United. Now, I'd be worried about Mason Mount signing for Man United 2 years ago, in that Solskjaer era, where it was all, you know, let's just all be mates, let's have a laugh whilst doing the job. You know, the David Brent approach. You know, I'm an entertainer. You know, you'll never work in another place like this. You know, we're just here to have a laugh. And that's what it was like under Solskjaer. I wouldn't like Mason Mount to sign in that environment because he's an England player. You know, there's a few England players at United. It's all a big laugh. But under Ten Hag, if we get that work ethic right, I think Mason Mount is a player that will work really hard in the United team. And he's going to have to work hard. You know, it's a bit like when Van Persie came. There's a different approach required when you're signing from a rival, because the fans need persuading. You know, we had it with Van Persie. We do need persuading. It's a good signing. He's a good player, but you're a Chelsea player. You're an Arsenal player. You've got to persuade us that United's the club for you, that you're in it, that you want to be here, that, you know, and look at what Van Persie did. Van Persie came in week in, week out, scored the goals to win us the title. Now, I'm not expecting Mason Mount to win us the title, but he has got something to prove. And I like players that have got something to prove. I think if we buy an Arna, he's got something to prove. He's taken over a legend. I think if you buy Højlund, he's got something to prove as a young player. Bruno had something to prove. Casemiro has something to prove. Martinez has something to prove. I think Mason Mount's got something to prove. And those sort of players can be a real asset. Big bench boost having either Mount or Ericsson on it. Fingers crossed we can get Amrabat and Højlund as options too, says Jack. So who is actually paying for the transfers? Will the new owners pay the... thanks for your chat, but it's the most basic answer in the world. We're owned by the Glazers. How the hell can Qatar or Sajin be paying for the transfers? They've not bought the club. Do you walk down your road and pay for the window cleaner at the people across the road? No, because you don't own it. Pure guesswork here. Varane gets number 4 now that Jones is gone, and Mount gets number 19, says Horn. I'd say the fact that will be some commercial reason why we've not announced what Mason Mount's number is going to be. I couldn't give a toss what his number is. If you ever watch me play FIFA, I don't even change the shirt numbers as I buy players, so I don't really care. But I know some of you do care. But logically, Varane moves to 4 with Phil Jones gone. Danish, thank you very much for your super chat. And then, obviously, you put Mason Mount at 19. And I suppose the thing is, who's going to get number 7? I wouldn't give Mason Mount number 7. I think he's got a lot on his shoulders already. I wouldn't give him the number 7. I think that would be... It doesn't feel like a good fit to me. But at the end of the day, we gave Michael Owen number 7. So it wouldn't be the first time we've, given it out badly. We gave it to Memphis as well, didn't we? Anyway, look, I'm not going to over-egg the pudding. We've known that this signing is going to happen for a long time. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. Eric wants to play possession football, but he can't get the players he wants to do it because Glazers won't get them. So he got Mount because he's the only player the owner said yes to. He wants Casido, says Nathan Allen. And did we sign Mount because we need homegrown players so we can sell Maguire and McTominay? How many have we got, says Nicholas. Look, we do need to buy British a bit, because we do need to sell British, and the homegrown rule is an interesting topic for debate as this transfer window develops. We'll be back at 2 o'clock. We'll delve a little bit into that Jamie Jackson story, I think. But Mason Mount is Manchester United's first official signing. We've not sold anybody yet. Apparently Dean Henderson does want to go. Samuel Luckhurst, obviously very close to him, has put an article out this morning saying that Dean Henderson wants to go. So let's just get that deal done and start getting some money in. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you a little bit later. Take care, and get your comments in below. What are your thoughts on the Mason Mount deal? Of course, let's read your comments.